beautiful night for baseball in the Valley of the Sun. This time we are in Goodyear, Arizona. It's the home of the Reds, and tonight the Cleveland Indians, who host your Texas Rangers at Goodyear Ballpark for Cactus League game number 21 already this spring for the Texas Rangers. Hi there, John Radigan and Tom Grieve here at the Goodyear Ballpark and getting you ready for another night game here. The Rangers are 0-3 so far in night play. They'd like to turn that around tonight, Tom. And by sending Matt Harrison out to the mound, from what we've seen so far this spring, they might have a pretty good chance of doing that.
I think so, John. You know, the first time through the rotation, a couple of times, all the young pitchers pitched pretty well. This time through, there's been a little bit of a struggle. Michael Kirkman struggled last night. Derek Holland struggled a little bit. It's up to Matt to go out and have a good outing tonight. He's been terrific all through the spring. He's got a great attitude. He's more confident. And just like we've said about every one of the other candidates, it's a big start for him tonight. If he goes out and throws 5 really good innings, I think he's got the inside track on one of the spots.
We saw him in our first television game, and we'll see him again tonight and see if he can duplicate that kind of performance that he threw against the Chicago White Sox last time out. It is a great night for baseball, and we're glad you joined us late night, a full moon over Goodyear, Arizona. And guess what? It's time to play ball, y'all. Opening lineups and first pitch are coming your way next. Texas Rangers baseball on TXA 21 is brought to you by Ford, the biggest, the best, the one you don't want to miss. It is Truck Month, only at your Texas Ford dealer. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. And there's a beautiful palm tree and the beautiful night sky as night has fallen here in the Valley of the Sun. And we're getting you ready for a little baseball between the Texas Rangers and the Cleveland Indians. And finally, the Rangers are done with the National League West for a little while. They had 5 in a row against opponents from the NL West. Now they'll see one from the AL Central, and it's a slightly different lineup for Ron Washington tonight, as they had played 3 in a row with a lot of the regulars. And so you'll see Julio Bourbon and Elvis, who had last night off. David Murphy in the 3-hole. That's unusual. There's Nelson Cruz back from 1 day away to take care of some personal business. Mitch Moreland is back at first base tonight, and Yorvik Torrealba, who was the DH last night, will be behind the plate. The hottest hitter in camp, Chris Davis, is back at third base. Chad Tracy will be the DH tonight, and Andres Blanco moves over to second base. That is the lineup tonight, and Matt Harrison will be the pitcher for the Texas Rangers tonight. He hopes to pick up where he left off in Glendale, Arizona, when the Rangers did so well against the Chicago White Sox last weekend, Tom.
Well, he threw the ball extremely well, and we've seen Matt do that before. He threw the ball well in spring training last year. He's had a streak a couple of years ago of 19 scoreless innings. Had a terrific couple of games early in the season last year. The talent has always been there. I think the difference right now in Matt is not necessarily attitude, but confidence. I think he's a different kind of a pitcher as far as his mental outlook goes. Instead of hoping to get the job done and wondering if he can get the job done, he's pretty sure that he can. And with his stuff, he should feel that way, and that could make a big difference for him.
Carlos Carrasco on the mound today for the Cleveland Indians, and he faces Julio Bourbon in the leadoff spot. Carrasco, a part of that Cliff Lee trade, as the Indians hope to start seeing some dividends paid from trading back-to-back Cy Young Award winners a couple of years ago, and this one is bunted at but fouled by Julio.
Yeah, as of right now, they don't have a big return for Sabathia and Lee. They got 8 players, and they're still developing players, so you can't judge that trade right now. I think Carrasco was probably the key component in that trade for Cliff Lee.
There's a big wave and a miss by Julio, and it's the first out of the game.
Carrasco has a good sinker, which he threw right there. And for a young pitcher, he's always had good control. He's never been a kid that walked a lot of batters. He throws strikes, and I think you have to really like his size and the stuff that he has.
Elvis Andrus now stepping in with a quick pat on the back to the home plate umpire, Rob Drake. Elvis is getting ready to face Carrasco. Both from Venezuela, so no doubt knew each other some growing up and see each other in the offseason as Elvis fouls the first one back and out of play.
Carrasco is only 24, but he's had almost 900 innings in the minor leagues. So he's served a long apprenticeship in the minor leagues, even though he's very young. And so he should be ready to step into the rotation. I'm sure they're penciling him in as one of the rotation guys.
This one is sliced down the right field line and into the seats and foul. So Carrasco quickly gets ahead of Elvis 0-2.
And 25 starts in AAA last year for Cleveland, 7 starts in the big leagues. They went pretty well. His ERA was .383. Had a fair share of strikeouts and not many walks, pretty much what's typified his minor league career.
Yeah, he was a September call-up. He basically spent the entire season at AAA and then got that September call-up as he's low and away to Elvis there for ball 1. Columbus is their AAA affiliate where he went 10-6. And another foul. Elvis leading the way in at-bats for the Rangers so far this spring. Even with yesterday off, he comes into the game having gone to the plate 44 times, more than any other Ranger. Julio Bourbon and David Murphy hot on his heels at 42 at-bats apiece. And this one is driven deep to left field. Saddle up, baseball. You're going for a ride. Elvis Andrus with a home run, and the Rangers with a 1-0 lead.
That was nice to see from Elvis. Did hit a home run last year. Hit a handful of them the year before. But he got a fastball on the inside part of the plate. Looks a little bit stronger than he was last year physically. And he's going to have to take a little bit.
Look at Watch.
Going to have to take a little bit of guff for that one.
He's going to get some ribbing over there. We'll keep an eye on him in the Rangers dugout. If all the regulars were here, it would be a little more difficult for him. And David Murphy, oh, nice catch out there. David laces it out to right field, but Shin-Soo Choo is there to make a nice diving play on it.
That was a rope, too. That thing looked like it was going to be about halfway between the infield dirt and Choo. It just kept carrying. He made a nice play. Choo, by the way, is one of the most underrated players in the American League, a guy that you don't hear much about because he's kind of playing in anonymity in Cleveland. But that kid's a good player. He can play defense. He can throw. On base percentage. He's got power. He can steal a base. He's Cleveland's best player.
Yeah, a five-tool guy who is now represented by Scott Boras, and a guy who the Indians would love to lock up. They're going to try to do it during spring training if they can. GM Chris Antonetti does not like to negotiate during the season, so they'll hope to work something out during the spring, although with Boras as his representative, that could be a little bit difficult. He is under club control until 2013, so they got this year and 2 more. They'd like to buy him out of some of that. Nelly goes down on strikes. But the Rangers get the lead. Elvis Andrus, who didn't hit a home run all last spring, hit one into the Rangers bullpen tonight. And the Rangers have a 1-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the first. One nothing Rangers on the strength of an Elvis Andrus home run. He's in the number 2 hole tonight and hit his first home run in over a year. And gives the Rangers a 1-0 lead. Got the silent treatment from Nelly Cruz, one of the regulars, who was actually in the on-deck circle when Elvis came by. And I think some of the young players remember to give Elvis the silent treatment over there. Wash was sure happy to see him after that first home run. And it's now Matt Harrison against the leadoff man, Michael Brantley. There's another strike from Matt. It's 1-1. See his numbers so far, or that's from last season. He was 3-2 with that .471, but has been much better than that this spring, and that's strike 2. And we talked to him on Saturday from Glendale. Tom heard it immediately, just a different level of confidence. Matt admitted that some of the reading he did in the offseason contributed to that confidence.
Well, you can hear people talk about how good your stuff is, but unless you believe it yourself, you're never going to be as good as you can be. And I think Matt is starting to understand the kind of talent that he has, and the fact that if he can just pitch with confidence, pitch his game, that he can be a very successful major league pitcher.
He had a lot of success against the White Sox on Saturday. That one's a little high and in tight, and he issues a leadoff walk to Michael Brantley.
Brantley's not a kid with a lot of power, so as a leadoff hitter, the last thing you want to do is walk him, and that's probably the last thing Matt was trying to do.
Matt threw 4 scoreless innings against a lineup of almost every single regular White Sox player on Saturday. He allowed only 2 hits, and one of those was a bunt single to lead off the game by Juan Pierre. That one is fouled back. We take a look at the Indians lineup. It's Brantley and Cabrera and Chu, Kearns, Hafner, and the other Cabrera now, as they have a Cabrera Keystone combination. Matt Laporta's another guy who was acquired in the trade, and they're trying to get something out of him this spring. They've got Jack Hanahan over here now, and Marson is in the 9 hole, and this one is sliced into right center field. But there to get it is Julio Bourbon.
Already, there's a huge difference between tonight and last night.
The way that ball's carried.
Line drive to right center field didn't go off the right center field wall.
No.
Bourbon was able to run that one down. And I don't know whether it was the elements last night or just the fact that those balls were being rocketed out there to right center field. But that looked like a normal line drive that was an easy catch for Bourbon in right center field.
You can see the breeze or lack of same compared to last night when the flags were at attention. And it will be a little easier to play those fly balls and those line drives. I asked Ron Washington today, have you forgotten about last night yet? And he said he had. Forgot about it as soon as he drove back to the place. He said that is one you just completely forget about and move on. The great thing about baseball is you get to play every day. And when you have 7 errors in a game, it's an aberration, and it's something you definitely do want to put in your short-term memory bank and purge it, get it on out of there. Ron Washington's pretty good about doing that, especially during the spring. Wave and a miss there by Chu.
Chu, over the last couple of years, he's hit 300 both years. He's averaged 21 home runs. He's averaged 88 runs batted in, 35 doubles, 22 stolen bases, and he's walked 81 times. So his on-base percentage is right around 40%. Fastball by Matt right there. And one thing that he did nicely last year is he cut his strikeouts down from 150 down to around 120.
Harrison checking Brantley at first base. Chu was the MVP and best pitcher in the Junior Baseball Championships, which Korea won in 2000. He was immediately after the tournament signed by the Seattle Mariners for $1.3 million. They obviously did a pretty good job of scouting that tournament and scouting this youngster who was still a junior at that point, but they were willing to pay the undrafted free agent $1.3 million in a signing bonus. So it's 1-2. This one is sliced into the corner in left field, carrying and foul. Just off the standard out there. David Murphy trying to track it down in left. She will try it again at 1-2. This ballpark is a long way out, almost straight on a line south of where our ballpark is in Surprise. You drive through some desert to get here. It's all pretty well developed around the Surprise ballpark. This one's a little newer. It'll probably develop out to its reaches as well. And the 1-2. Low for a ball. So it's 2-2. Left-hander against a left-hander. Harrison facing Shin-Soo Chu. Oh, he hit it. Oh, boy. Sounded like it.
I think it
hit his helmet
in the head, but I don't think it was a fastball. I think it was a slider that got away from him, which doesn't make it a whole lot less dangerous, but it is probably the difference of 10 or 15 miles an hour anyway. Might even have been a changeup. Hard to tell.
Yeah.
But Chu's okay, and that's what matters.
Oh, boy, yeah. That's why they wear those helmets. Give it a listen here in a second. Heard the reaction from the crowd, too, as Chu gets checked out by the trainer, Lonnie Soloff. Everybody has to be so careful about concussions these days, and they will check Chu out thoroughly and make sure he is able to stay in the game, and make sure he's as healthy as you can be after taking a pitched ball to the head. And it looks like he is. He's passed all the tests, and he will stay at first base. So there's runners at first and second, and Austin Kearns will come up.
Matt hasn't fine-tuned his command yet. Been kind of all over the place, but if he can throw that sinker, throw it down and away and get a ground ball, he can kind of erase the walk and the hit by pitch right here. The infielders to turn over a double play. And quite been able to locate the strike zone as frequently as he would like early in the game.
Kearns was the 7th overall pick back in 1998 by the Reds. Makes a big cut at that one from Matt.
John, before the game gets too far along, I want to say hi to a couple of great Ranger fans. Elizabeth Sullivan is going to celebrate her 100th birthday tomorrow.
Wow.
She used to be a math teacher at Pasco High School over in Fort Worth. She's a great Ranger fan. And also Effie Lee McComb from Mineola. She's 87 years old and watches every game that she can. Ladies, I'm not sure you're watching tonight. If you are, thank you very much. And Elizabeth, have a great birthday party tomorrow.
That one gets behind Torrealba, and both runners advance, so they're at second and third now.
Torrealba tried to catch that ball instead of blocking it with his chest and wasn't able to do it. That's one, I think if he had to do it over again, he might go down on both knees and just let it go off his chest protector and keep it in front of him. That way you keep the double play in order.
Instead, they're at second and third. He loses that one for a moment, but it doesn't get away from him. And it's 3-1. We didn't see this out of Matt Harrison in any inning or any time in the 4 innings that he worked against Chicago. So see if he can get himself righted. It seems like that one may have hit Torrealba somewhere where it hurts. Now he comes back as Rob Drake breaks it up out at the mound. Austin Kearns waiting patiently for the 3-1 pitch from Matt Harrison. Travis Hafner, the former Ranger, is on deck. Rangers lead at 1-0 on the strength of that Elvis Andrus first inning home run. Matt Harrison tries to work out of a jam here. There's Hafner. Swing and a miss, and it's a full count now. May have been a foul tip. Now it's Kearns shaking his hand.
And Matt's thrown Kearns a couple of good changeups. He's had trouble commanding his slider and his fastball. A couple of strikes he's got on Kearns have been swings at pretty good changeups if he throws him one on the 3-2 pitch.
Slice down the right field line and foul and out of the reach of everybody and bounces into the seats. Decent crowd out here in Goodyear, the Goodyear ballpark. We're adjacent to a airplane graveyard, which is a little eerie. We can't show it to you at night. If we had a day game, we might be able to have a camera take a shot of it, because there's about 25 airplanes just sitting over there, having been decommissioned. They look a little eerie. payoff pitch. Swung on and chopped to third. Having trouble with it is Davis. The run scores. He makes the throw, but safe at first base is Austin Kearns. Brantley comes in to score.
Well, that was going to be an easy play at the plate right there for Chris if he caught the ball. In fact, it couldn't have been an easier play. The ball takes a big hop right to him. He must have just taken his eye off the ball, because the runner was going to try to score, and you're only going to get one out on that anyway. You might as well take the sure out at the plate as well as throw it to first base. As it was, he didn't get anybody. Now it's first and second with a run in on a ball that easily could have been turned into an out at the plate.
Chris frustrated with himself. It did look like he was looking at home plate even as he tried to field that ball. And the night after, the Rangers had 7 errors already in the bottom of the first inning. They've got 1 error on Chris Davis at third base. And the inning continues. It's tied at 1. And here comes Travis Hafner. A 33-year-old born in Jamestown, North Dakota.
That's just a good example of why, when the runners moved up on the pitch in the dirt, you take away the double play. Chances are, if you get the same ground ball with men at first and second, Chris is not thinking about throwing it home. He makes the play, throws to second, and they turn a double play, and Matt's right out of the inning, even with the walk and a hit batter. That's a play Chris will make probably 99 times out of 100. Chris has played well at third base. He's a terrific first baseman, and he's done very well at third base too.
And he's hitting the ball, and he is making everybody take notice. Talked to Nolan Ryan about him today. Nolan says there's just no way you cannot notice what he's done in the spring. You have to take notice of it. And he will definitely be, as is evidenced by the fact that he's still here, he's definitely in consideration to be on the 25-man roster when they break spring training. Wash said the same thing. Nobody is forgetting about Chris Davis, and while he may have not been on the top of everybody's mind as a possibility for breaking camp with the big club at the start of spring training, what he's done during spring training has certainly helped his cause. Nolan says he will be getting a lot of at-bats between the now and the end of spring to try to determine if Chris can keep this up.
That's a good slider right there, cutter. A lot of left-hand hitters would have swung at that. Hafner, good plate discipline. Not the hitter he used to be, but he's still a dangerous out up there. Shoulder injuries the last 3 years have really curtailed his output. There's the same pitch, and that was a strike, and he had to swing at it.
And it gets Hafner on strikes, and it'll bring up Orlando Cabrera. Diminutive second baseman, standing in at 5'9", 185 pounds, and 36 years old. Colombian-born Orlando Cabrera, making up the Cabrera and Cabrera Keystone combination here. Asdrubal Cabrera is the shortstop. Orlando the second baseman. Matt Harrison. Another one gets away from Yorvit Torrealba, and once again the runners advance to second and third.
Yeah, that looked like a pretty catchable ball right there. It was a curve ball down and away, but the catcher knows the curve ball is coming down and in, I should say. It just hit off his glove. Not sure whether it's a pass ball or a wild pitch, but I'm sure Torrealba would say he should have caught that ball.
Does seem like the signals are crossed a bit between Harrison and Torrealba tonight. That one's outside for a ball, and it's 2-0 to Cabrera.
So far in this game, I wouldn't say that a catcher would have an easy time catching Matt. His fastball is in the mid-90s, and it's a little bit all over the place. He's down, he's up, throwing a cutter, a curveball, good movement on his fastball. So it's not an easy assignment, the first 20 pitches that Torrey Elvis had to catch today.
And he walked him on 4 straight pitches. So Cabrera's on base. And the bases are loaded with Indians. And that's 32 pitches already in the inning by Matt Harrison. 15 strikes and 17 balls. So Matt does not have the same command that we saw he had on Saturday in Glendale.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the stuff that Matt has. You know, and it's similar to Michael Kirkman's game yesterday. Matt's not being hit like Kirkman was, but he's also not being helped by the defense. If Chris is able to make that play, he's out of this inning and there's no run scored. Now he's got to work out a bases loaded jam and already 1 run in. But part of getting into the jam was the walk and the hit batter, so he's not blameless in this first inning.
Got some culpability there too.
There's a little bit to go around. Throwing the ball fine. He's throwing hard, good stuff. Just got to harness it a little bit.
And he's ahead of Laporta, 0-2. Matt Laporta, another one who was in that Sabathia trade. Another guy who was the 7th overall pick. Now, he was the 7th pick in 2007 out of the University of Florida, where he decided to play his senior year and hit .402 with 20 home runs, became the SEC Player of the Year, and went from being a early round draft pick to being one of the top draft picks at number 7 overall. That one sliced foul and a shot over there, and it actually hit the noodle stand where you got your dinner, Tom.
Yeah, knocked the Sobe noodle guy in there working furiously to get his stuff ready. That guy can cook, boy.
These were some good smelling noodles.
Healthy too. A lot of good stuff in them. Same stand that they have over at the Dodgers ballpark. Same company.
Guys making some money at these ballparks this time of year. There's a strike, and that is going to end the inning. Wow, he gets out of that bases loaded jam. It's 1-1 after 1. You're watching Rangers baseball on TXA 21. One to one after 1. We head to the top of the 2nd inning when Mitch Moreland will lead things off for your Texas Rangers. Indians scored a run without the benefit of a hit in that first inning. We are checking even as we speak whether or not that was an earned run, whether or not there's an RBI on that play. As Mitch Moreland steps in now. There is an RBI, and it is an earned run. So
I guess you can't, in that kind of a situation, the scorekeeper doesn't assume that the third baseman was going to catch the ball and throw it home and get the runner. You can't assume that. You can't assume he would have had the batter at first base. And if he threw it to first base, the guy would have scored from third and it would be an earned run. I think to the casual observer, me included, he was going to come home with that ball and it would have been a simple play at the plate. And therefore, it wouldn't be an earned run or an RBI. But I think there's certain guidelines that scorekeepers go by, and he just must not have been able to make that determination.
Broken bat by Moreland. The ball goes to second. The bat almost does too. And there is one out. Carrasco working pretty quickly. He had just 13 pitches in the first inning, 11 strikes and 2 balls.
He's got good command of his pitches. We talked about him in the first inning. He throws a lot of strikes and always has as a young pitcher in the minor leagues and now as a young big leaguer. Got a terrific changeup. He keeps the ball down, and when you watch him pitch at his age, you can project a pretty good starting pitcher for many years to come, you would think.
Indians certainly hope so. He was part of that Cliff Lee trade, as we mentioned, probably the linchpin in that Lee trade. He's one of the top prospects in the Phillies organization at the time, and one of the top prospects in all of baseball at the time.
Slider.
It's Yorvit Torrealba at the plate, and he is quickly behind 0-2. That one's low and away. And it's 1-2 to Yorvit, who has hit safely in 5 straight games for the Rangers. Batting .500 on the spring. And that one's just a little outside. So it's 2-2. During those 5 straight games, Yorvit is 7 of 11, so it's not like just a 1 hit per game. 7 of 11 in the 5, which is a .636 batting average in that time. That one's outside, and suddenly we go from 0-2 to a full count on Yorvit.
Yeah, we've seen all of those hits. He's had them all since we've been here, and they've been all over the field, right center, left center. Pulled it up the middle yesterday.
1 walk and no strikeouts in that time. This one is fouled off the screen and into the Rangers dugout.
Interesting how they've got the screen here. I just noticed that the screen goes from the top of the screen behind the plate, angles down to the back of the dugout, and protects everybody in the first 7 or 8 rows right in back of the dugout. It's not a bad idea.
That's where some of the hardest hit smashes foul go.
Yeah, I think that's the most dangerous part of the ballpark. Best seats in the house for a lot of people.
There it is. You see, it looks sort of like a sail on a sailboat, and it attaches basically to the edge of the dugout, and there's walk number 2 in this duration for Yorvit Torrealba. He's on first base. Chris Davis will come to the plate.
It's probably a pretty good idea. I would think you can see through it pretty well. It's not taken away from the viewing pleasure of the fans. It's certainly making them a lot safer, boy.
It allows them to at least not pay rapt attention to every pitch, which sitting in those seats you really need to if there's no screen there. Ball will come whistling in, typically from a guy standing on the opposite side of the plate from where you're sitting. Davis takes a big cut, and it's 0-1. Chris leads all of Major League Baseball with 15 RBIs. Got 4 of them last night on 1 swing of the bat. Grand slam. Not the only highlight for the Rangers last night. I guess Pedro Strop was a highlight.
Yeah, I love the way Pedro threw the ball last night. And this comes against Heath Bell, the great closer from the Padres. It was a fast ball in, and he launched it all the way to the top of the hill.
Now he's got a chance against a guy at the opposite end of the pitching progression anyway. Carrasco on the way up. Heath Bell, an established closer, and that's one of the things Ron Washington liked most about what Chris Davis did last night too. Even though it came a little later in the game, it didn't come against a guy who's not going to make the club. It came against a polished closer.
Well, Strop is a guy that probably didn't come to spring training with a great chance to make the team. But last night, and the way he's thrown the ball all spring, he has to have people watching him right now too. Got the mid-90s fastball. Now he's got that splitter to complement it. He had a lot of success. He struck out 4 in 2 innings last night.
Yeah, it looks like he'd be a really nice complement in the bullpen.
Managers love to have those power arms late in the ball game. The Rangers have a lot of them down there, depending on who makes the rotation and who makes the bullpen. But potentially you've got Ogando, Felice, Mark Lowe, all guys that throw between 96 and 98 miles an hour.
Good. This one is on a rope, but foul, just foul down the right field line by Chris Davis.
And Carrasco took a little bit off that, threw him a changeup a little bit out in front, kind of hit it toward the end of the bat.
Speaking of who will be in that rotation, as you take another look at the ripped foul ball by Chris Davis. Another day, another chance to ask Nolan Ryan what he thought about Felice's chances, where he'd be, whether he'd be in the bullpen or whether he'd be in the rotation. And Nolan says it's still up in the air. He went on to say if you polled everybody in baseball operations, it would be about a 50-50 split right now. This one's grounded in the hole, past the diving Laporta. Chris Davis is on again, and Yorvit Torrealba's over at third.
That was a good at bat for Chris. The kid threw him everything he had up there, including a 3-2 changeup that he fouled off, and another changeup that's a little bit away from him. Chris gets a little bit better part of the bat on that one and pulls it past the diving first baseman for a base hit. Stays hot, continues to put good at bats up there. Looks confident, looks relaxed, swinging a nice bat right now.
Wash talked about how his approach and his mechanics have improved. Wash credits Winterball with some of the reasons for that. This one is looped into shallow right center field. That'll get a run home. Davis is headed for third base. The throw is in time. Chris Davis gunned down by Chu at third, but the Rangers get a run on the RBI single by Chad Tracy.
The Rangers like to play aggressive on the bases, and there's nothing wrong with that. But on that particular play, you have to know your right fielder. And that was going to be a perfect ball to throw because it was a little looper that took a nice soft hop right to Chu, who was in position almost like a pitcher to throw this ball to third base. And you can see the gun that he's got out there. Might not quite be in Ichiro's league, but pretty close. Strong, accurate throw.
Got him by a mile.
Yep, Chris didn't have much chance.
So there you see another of the tools for Chu, who's considered a 5-tool guy. And now it's Andres Blanco. Rangers take a 2-1 lead here in the top of the second inning. Andres is in the 9-hole today.
And Chad probably wishes he could have gotten that hit a couple of nights ago when his dad was managing in the ballpark.
That one drives Blanco back just a little bit, and it's 1-1. That 343 average has risen dramatically in the last 9 or 10 games. He's hit safely in 9 of 11. There's a big cut and a miss. So it's 1-2 to Andres. Seen a lot of time at shortstop lately, but Blanco is at second base tonight since Elvis made the trip down south from Surprise. Most of the regulars weren't even a part of the afternoon workout today. Strike 3 called, and Carrasco gets Blanco looking, but the Rangers get another run. They lead it 2-1 after an inning and a half. Two to one Rangers headed to the bottom of the second inning, and we remind you that available in the upper home run porch for every game at Rangers Ballpark are those all-you-can-eat seats. They include unlimited grilled chicken sandwiches, hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, popcorn, and soft drinks. They're served in the upper home run porch grill. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS for your all-you-can-eat seats at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Jack Hanahan now against Matt Harrison, and he hits it out in front of Julio Bourbon. A solid single to center to start the second.
Yeah, it's kind of a big inning for Matt, really. He threw the ball fine in the first inning. He was just a little bit all over the place. Had a play that wasn't made behind him, probably cost him 10 or 15 more pitches. But reality is he threw a lot of pitches. He walked a couple, hit a batter. And what you'd like to see now is come right out in the second inning, have about a 12-pitch inning, 1, 2, 3 quick inning. It's not going to be a 1, 2, 3 inning, but nice quick inning, get back in the dugout and reestablish the command that he's had all spring.
Threw 37 pitches in that first inning, and this one is sliced into right field. Over to get it is Nelly Cruz.
This looks more like a normal game tonight. It looked like last night it was big leaguers hitting in a little league ballpark. Just whenever the ball was hit, the outfielders, no matter how deep they played, couldn't get back quickly enough to catch it. Tonight they look like they're normal line drives out there that Bourbon and Cruz have been able to run down.
And that'll bring up the top of the order. Here comes Michael Brantley again. There is one out now. Of those 37 that Matt threw, and there's a strike. Of the 37 he threw in the first inning, he did have more strikes than balls, as it turns out. 19 strikes, 18 balls. So he'll try to throw fewer pitches than he did, either strikes or balls, in the first in this half inning. Now it's 1-1 to Brantley. Matt walked him in the first inning, and he scored an earned run, as we found out. An RBI for Kearns. Shows bunt at that one. And it's 2-1. Brantley was drafted by Milwaukee back in '05. You might remember his dad, Mickey Brantley, who played in the Seattle organization for 3 years in the late 80s. Wave and a miss there, and it's 2-2. Mickey played with the Mariners from 86 to 89 and was a coach in the Blue Jays organization.
And that's at a good fastball. Not necessarily great command with it, but good velocity with it. We don't have radar guns tonight, but he frequently is anywhere from 92 to 95. I would have to guess that's about where he is right now. Just watching it and watching the hitter swing at it.
Brantley was behind that one. And it stays 2-2. Matt Harrison trying to earn himself a spot in the Rangers rotation. And that was inside, so it's 3-2. A full count to the leadoff man, Michael Brantley. Comes the 2-1. Chop foul down the third base line. Rather, that of course was the full count pitch, so it was something that we'll do again.
I saw in the Indians' notes tonight they have the youngest 40-man roster in the major leagues. And we've spoken about 2 trades they made, one for Cliff Lee, one for Sabathia, and then brought in 8 younger players that they hope develop into good players for them. So they've kind of been on a youth movement. They've traded veterans for younger players, reestablished themselves as a powerful team in the AL Central.
Back-to-back walks to Brantley in back-to-back innings, and there are runners at first and second now.
2 of their better players, in addition to Grady Sizemore and Carlos Santana, are Asdrubal Cabrera and Sin-Chu Chu. Both of them came from Seattle. And trades that Seattle would probably like to forget. They got Cabrera for Eduardo Perez. They got Sin-Chu Chu, one of the better young players in the American League, for Ben Broussard. So they've put 2 excellent players on their team. 2 players that they haven't missed at all. Seattle would like to have either one of those guys.
And the chant
to their manager.
Yeah, the chant goes up here. Asdrubal. Asdrubal. That is what the partisan Indians faithful is cheering. And that one gets behind Chris Davis. A shot into the left field corner. 1 run is home. Here comes the second. Cabrera is headed for third to throw to the plate. Is not in time to throw back to third. Is in time. But 2 runs come home. And it's 3-2.
Cabrera's a good hitter. He didn't have a big year for him last year, but the year before last, he hit well over 300. He had 42 doubles, stole 17 bases, and he turns on a fastball, which he can do, pulls it by Chris Davis. The Rangers pull off a nice relay play. Murphy to Elvis to Torrealba to get Cabrera going to third base, but on the play, 2-run score. Brantley scored twice after walking twice. That's something that Matt Harrison really would like to change. Don't want to walk the leadoff hitter, a kid without a lot of power and with a lot of speed. So he's one guy you want to keep off the bases, or at least make him hit his way on.
And so it is now Sin-Chu Chu. And Matt's quickly ahead of him, 0-2. It's fouled back to the screen. Chu was hit by a pitch, of course, in that first inning. If you missed it, it actually hit him right in the helmet. Thankfully, Matt had taken something off the pitch. And Chu was no worse for the wear. This one is sliced into left field. And Chu is rounding first. He's headed for second. David Murphy. We can't see him over there. Like he might have had a hard time grabbing that ball. Seemed like it took him a long time to retrieve it. Chu's now on second base.
A good look at Chu and why he's such a good hitter. He uses the whole field. He's a line drive hitter with power, speed. Takes that ball, a fast ball away, just goes with it, lines it with some authority right down the line into the corner.
Here's a look at what happened with Murph out there. It just got beyond him.
I think David was going to try to make a stab at catching it and holding him to a single. It's going to be almost impossible to do.
Another one gets past Torrealba, and Chu is now at third base.
And Torrealba struggling behind the plate first couple of innings.
That's a passed ball, not a wild pitch.
That's one he should have caught. The curveball that got by last inning was one he should have caught. And then there was one that moved runners from first and second to second and third that he didn't block. That one just got between his legs. He tried to block that one. The other one he tried to catch instead of blocking it. Glanced off his glove. So not an easy night to catch Matt Harrison. Command is not quite what you'd like to see it. And that's the last thing you have to worry about is Torrealba behind the plate. He's got a reputation of being a fine catcher.
Fouled off to make it 1-2 to Austin Kearns, who has an RBI in the game. Around Washington, hoping this will not be one of those forgettable nights like last night was. That one's a little inside, so it's 2-2. Kearns a pretty good pedigree. Was Mr. Baseball in the Commonwealth of Connecticut, or rather of Kentucky, in his senior year in high school, and he swings at that one. Fouls it off. Made his major league debut way back in 2002, but has spent part of almost every season until 09 up and down, and he swings and misses, and Matt Harrison gets him on strikes, and that will retire the side. But the Indians get a couple and lead it 3-2 after 2. Baseball on TXA 21 is brought to you by Sonic. It's new, it's better, it's the new Sonic Good. And by Grand Prairie Ford, the Texas-sized Ford store. 36 acres and over 1,000 vehicles to choose from. Full moon over Goodyear, Arizona, and you see some of the smells wafting around here as they've got some pretty good food at this fairly new spring training complex. And we start the third inning now with the top of the order and Julio Bourbon. Julio struck out his first time up in the first inning against Carlos Carrasco. And right-hander is outside there, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
So if any of the people are interested in identifying a scouting legend, when we show the view behind the pitcher, I'm going to show you a scouting legend in the tan jacket and the white hat.
On the
right-hand side is the great Dick Egan, one of the all-time greatest scouts. Used to be the Rangers bullpen coach, one of the pitching coaches along with Tom House. There's Dick. Dick lives right outside Arlington now.
So it's chopped towards second and through in the hole out into center field. Julio Bourbon is on with a leadoff single.
I'm glad we showed him because he'll have some friends say he was on TV and then he'll be all worried about what I was saying about it. He won't be quite sure of what it was, but it's nothing but compliments tonight for Eags.
Yeah, and his friends won't probably come completely clean. And even if they do, he'll say, oh, there's no way Grieve was saying all nice things about me.
I hope his former boss, Sandy Johnson, is watching tonight. He's probably not.
Now it's
Dick is one of the true characters of the game. I actually talk baseball with him.
I actually saw him in the lunchroom. I didn't. Glad you pointed out who that was. Sure could tell he was a scout the way he was talking and talking to some other scouts about his travels. Right.
I think Kenny Rogers would credit Dick with being one of the guys instrumental in helping him become a solid, in fact, a terrific all-star major league starting pitcher. They had a great relationship. Still do.
He's wearing a championship ring from somewhere, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a Tiger Scout now.
Oh, is that where he is?
One
okay.
of Dave Dombrowski's inner circle. Scotty Reed was here last night. Kidded them both. Said, you guys must have something going on. They got the 2 big wheels here scouting the Rangers. But if they did have something going on, they sure weren't going to share it with me last night anyway. I was kind of disappointed. I knew Scotty wouldn't, but I was kind of disappointed Eags wouldn't have said something.
Now it's 1-2 to Elvis, who homered his first time up. That one is in there for a strike, and Elvis goes down looking.
Good breaking ball right there from Carrasco. There's that curveball.
Yeah.
Kind of toward the inside half of the plate. Elvis knew it.
Carrasco threw 21 pitches last half inning, 14 strikes and 7 balls. He starts this frame having thrown 34 total, and he's got 1 out with 1 on, and David Murphy at the plate. Checks the runner. That's Julio Bourbon.
David's 0 for 1 in the game, but he may have the hardest hit ball of the night. That line shot that Chu laid out to catch in right field.
David's been hitting it extremely well. He's hit safely in 7 straight games. In those 7, he's seen his average rise from 250 to 357. Proud new Papa is having an awfully good spring. Again, Bourbon chased back to first base. Spring training game number 21 for the Rangers. Pitch is swung on and missed. So it's 1-1. Murph's got 3 doubles on the season and 9 runs batted in already this spring. Rips another one, foul. Gary Pettis is able to get out of the way of that one. And it's 1-2 to David Murphy. Nelly Cruz is on deck, a guy who has still not found his stroke this spring. This one is chopped towards second base. Runner was going, so there's no play at second. Now the runner's still going. Bourbon in safely at third. Aggressive base running. And the Rangers have a runner just 90 feet away.
A little bit of risk involved in that play. But speed sometimes prevails. Not sure what happened at first base. David's standing on first base. He must have taken his foot off the bag.
Oh, no kidding.
I just assumed he was out at first base.
Yeah, I started watching what was happening over at third.
It must be where Laporta saw the man go into third.
What happened?
Oh, what happened? He must not have had his foot on the base. Oh, catcher's interference.
Oh, again, just like last
night. And Bourbon went back to second. I never saw the play called at the plate. Then we talked about David Murphy probably being the best in the game at inducing that call. Did it twice in a game last year. Got another call tonight. Back-to-back nights for catcher's interference. Yep. It appeared like Laporta was standing right on the bag, but he got interested in watching the play. There's the glove hitting, the tip of the bat hitting the glove. And no one stopped.
No.
Just ran the play out, so it was hard to determine that that had happened until right at the end.
How does David do that? Is he a little late? Does he swing out?
He must have a little bit of a kind of a sweeping action to his swing at the back of his swing.
Only fouls this one back and out of play.
It's not something that you try to do.
No.
It's just his natural swing.
Lots of cheering.
Just a little bit. He must have a wider arc to his swing than most players do.
Catchers need to be aware of it, certainly.
Yeah, it happens enough to where you're absolutely right.
Wave and a miss by Nelly. And he's behind 1-2. And the Indians catcher, Lou Marson, goes out there to talk to Carrasco. Nelly struck out swinging in the first inning. He missed Wednesday. He left camp for a day and had to attend to some personal business. He was back yesterday, did not make the trip to Peoria, but he is here in Goodyear, obviously, and behind 1-2. Fouls that one off into the Rangers dugout, off the screen and in there. Kind of like bouncing it off the backboard over there. Rangers got single runs in the first and second inning. First inning on a home run by Elvis Andrus. Chad Tracy had an RBI single in the second to bring Yorvi Torrealba home. That's their 2 runs. The Indians have 3, and now it's 2-2 to Nelly Cruz. Carrasco is inside with that one, and it count runs full. David Murphy at first base. Julio Bourbon is at second. And Nelly Cruz with a chance to get his his 4th and or 5th and or 6th RBIs of the spring. This one is ripped down the third base line. Here comes 1 run. David Murphy is stopping at third. Nelly is stopping at first, and make it 4 RBIs for Nelly Cruz this spring.
A nice try by Hanahan at third base. Nelly shot it down the third base line, hit it well. Hanahan got a lot of his glove on the ball. It wasn't rolling very far, but he couldn't squeeze it, and it just trickles by him enough to be an RBI single. Allow David to go to third. Catcher's interference pays off.
Pays off big time, and here comes Mitch Moreland. 5 doubles already this spring for Mitch. Ties him for 4th in the Cactus League. Pops this one up sky high.
It would have been one at the tape measure out for.
Over to play it is Cabrera. The runners stay, and there are 2 away. So it'll bring up Jorvit Torrealba. He walked the first time up and scored a run.
Boy, that's right down the middle of the plate. He had a good swing at it. He just got underneath it a little bit.
Yeah. He knew it too. He was a little frustrated as he left the batter's box. Knew he just missed that one. And here's Torrealba. 3-3 now as the Rangers have scored single runs in each inning. Torrealba shows bunt, and it's a strike. So says Rob Drake, our home plate umpire tonight. One pitch is grounded straight up the middle and into center field. David Murphy comes home to score. Nelly stops at second. And the hot-hitting Jorvit Torrealba comes through with an RBI single.
He's shown a knack, boy. Every game we've watched him play, putting a solid part of the bat on the ball. Well hit ground ball right straight up the middle. Continues to get his hits. And just putting a little offense on the board early in the game, unlike last night.
They take the lead now 4-3 on the RBI single by Torrealba, and Carlos Carrasco gets a visit at the mound by pitching coach Tim Belcher. Carrasco, we mentioned, spent the year in AAA last season and then got called up as a September call-up, during which time he posted a 2-2 record and a .383 ERA. He's trying to make the starting rotation for the Indians when they break camp.
You know, an interesting sidelight to catcher's interference. You could take the play. Let's say you have catcher's interference, but you lined the ball into center field for a base hit.
Yeah.
You can take the play. If David happened to beat that play out at first base, they probably would have taken the play because Bourbon would have been at third base. Because David was out at first base, you take the catcher's interference, he goes to first and Bourbon goes back to second. Same thing on a balk. There's a balk, the pitcher throws the ball and the hitter drives it out of the ballpark. Yeah. That's a home run.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a free swing for a hitter on a balk.
Sort of like defensive offsides in football. It's a free play.
Throw the bomb.
Yeah.
Go for 6.
Yep. Toss it up. Everybody go deep.
I know every time I see that play, and one of my fantasy league guys is playing, that's what I want to do.
Davis hits another one on right over there to second base, kind of a looping liner this time, and he is out and side's retired, but the Rangers take the lead. It's now 4-3 Texas as we head to the bottom of the third. to 3 Rangers as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and former Ranger Travis Hafner will come to the plate against Matt Harris. And Matt, who threw 23 pitches last inning but has thrown 60 already in the game. The goal is roughly 80, so he's going to need to separate, basically distribute 20 pitches over the next 3 innings if he's going to get to the requisite 5 for this start.
It's probably going to be some extra innings for the guys out in the bullpen tonight that they didn't expect. But again, you just like to see Matt come out and have a 10 or 12 pitch inning. He's throwing the ball fine, just hasn't quite had the command that he'd like to have.
Starts Hafner off with a ball. And there's a cut and a miss, so it's 1-1. Rangers already have Cody Epley up working in the bullpen. They brought plenty of pitchers today. Earlier in the spring, they had the starters in 2 starter tandems because they weren't working enough innings. But if the thought was that Matt Harrison would go 5, then they wouldn't have enough innings for the other starters. So he's the only starter with a bunch of relievers here. Cody Epley, one of those just-in-case guys, is Hafner fouls that one into the seats down the third base line. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The guy who actually got called up to the big league club with the Rangers in 2002. Travis played 23 games that year for the Rangers. In December of 2002, though, was traded from the Rangers with Aaron Mayette in exchange for Ryan Drees and Einar Diaz. And he takes a walk there. Another leadoff walk. Second time in 3 innings.
4 walks in 2 innings for Matt.
That after not allowing any on Saturday against the White Sox. And against basically the White Sox opening day roster. So here comes Orlando Cabrera. He has one of those 4 walks in the first inning. He shows bunt, but it's outside. That one is in there for a strike from Matt. 4 runs on 6 hits and an error for the Rangers. 3-3-1 for the Indians. Their error, an E2 on that catcher's interference. This one is popped up. Coming on in center field is Julio Bourbon, and he makes the play. There is 1 out. And here comes Matt Laporta. Laporta comes into the night batting .158. He's now 6 for 39 on the spring, having struck out to end the first inning.
Laporta was the featured player coming over from Milwaukee in the Sabathia trade. Got a pretty good shot to play with Cleveland last year. He had almost 400 at bats, hit .220. He's got some power. He had 12 home runs.
He had toe and hip surgery in 2009. Manny Acta says he is going to give him a mulligan for last year because Acta says you can't hit without your legs, and they felt like he was without his legs last year after those 2 surgeries. And this one is hit high and medium deep left field. David Murphy is there to make the play, and there are 2 away.
Get that ball right off the end of the bat. Like a pretty good swing and a pretty good pitch to hit. Unfortunately, it was a changeup, and he hit it right off the end of the bat.
And now it's Jack Hanahan. Minnesota native who went to the same high school as Joe Mauer and Paul Molitor. That's upstairs with that first offering, and it's 1-0. good baseball talent came out of there. Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Jack still makes his home there. He went to the University of Minnesota after that, where he was Big Ten Player of the Year in 2000. There's a strike from Matt Harrison to make it 2-1. He's on a non-roster invitation to Major League camp with the Indians. And it's 3-1. Matt continues to struggle with his location a little bit. There are 2 outs, though, here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. This one is chopped to first. Good play by Moreland. And he'll take it himself. And that is a better inning for Matt Harrison. The leadoff walk is stranded. And the Rangers lead it 4-3 after 3. Four to 3 Rangers as we head to the 4th inning, and there are lots of Rangers fans here too. Spring break continues, and you may have seen the article at TexasRangers.com today about how the Rangers have attracted so many Texans to the Arizona area, the Valley of the Sun, for this spring training and this spring break. It's been great to see this many Texans discover this area for the first time. My family among them. They are headed back to Texas tomorrow. They had spring break out here too, as did those kids and many others. Everywhere we go, every restaurant we go into, and at every ballpark we've seen, plenty of Rangers fans, and it's great to see them.
Could be one of those nights where the concessionaire runs out of pizza and hot dogs. He'll be gone in about the 5th inning. Pretty good crowd.
Pretty poor pace.
They're going to get their money's worth tonight, boy.
Pretty poor pace as Tracy calls that one.
Cut off the beer service after the 4th inning.
Yeah. Chad Tracy had an RBI single in the 2nd. He accounted for the 2nd Ranger run. He chops that one foul. Pretty good play by the fan over there with the left hand. There's a smattering of applause. And it's 1-2 to Tracy. Carrasco had 25 pitches in the last inning. He starts the inning at 59. And Tracy's making him work here with another foul. It's Carrasco's 4th start of the spring. He's had a happy spring too. He left at one point. That's a strike called, and Chad Tracy goes down. That'll bring up Andres Blanco.
The curveball from Carrasco. And Elvis looking at almost the same pitch. And Elvis pretty much had the same reaction that Chad did. Saw it, turned around, walked away as the umpire was calling it strike 3. I said it earlier in the game, Carrasco's got pretty good stuff. He's got a good changeup, good curveball, sneaky fastball. Still only 24 years old. Got a nice future ahead of him. All a good curveball.
Wave and a miss by Blanco there, and Carrasco left the team after his first start, which was against the Dodgers on March 1st, to be in Clearwater, Florida on May 4th for the birth of his daughter, Camilla. Congratulations to him, another proud papa. This one's grounded to first. Carrasco over to cover, and there are 2 away. Here comes Julio Bourbon at the top of the order for the Rangers. Nolan Ryan assured us today that at this point there is no plan to make a change in what the Rangers have been thinking about center field since the beginning of spring training, and that is that Julio Bourbon will be the opening day center fielder. Julio had those 2 errors last night, but it's spring training, and Nolan and Ron Washington both said today that as of right now, they have made no changes in their plans. They believe Julio will learn from the mistakes and will be better.
Oh, if you thought that Julio was a promising player last year, and over the winter you made the commitment that he would be the center fielder, tough to go back on that with 30 at-bats in spring training, 10 or 12 games in spring training. I think you owe it to your commitment to the player to stick with it. That commitment may be to start the season, but I don't think the commitment is there for 162 games. Very few players have that commitment. You still have to go out and earn your stripes on a daily basis. But it would appear he's going to get the opportunity to do that to start the season, and then it's up to him to take the ball and run with it.
Yeah, that's what occurred to me when they were saying that today. Actually, was just what happened at the beginning of last year. He was the leadoff man at the beginning of last year, but not for long. When things didn't go well, they quickly made the change there, and his wasn't the only. The Chris Davis move happened quickly. Salty was sent down quickly. So was Taylor Teagarden. They made the move at closer fairly quickly. I mean, they're not afraid to pull the trigger. They're just not necessarily going to do it in the spring. This one is popped up sky high, shallow center field. Back to play it is Cabrera, and the side is retired. 1, 2, 3, go the Rangers. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th. Four-3 Rangers headed to the bottom of the 4th inning, and We remind you to follow the Rangers this season at MLB.com. At Bat 11 for your iPhone, your iPad, your Android, or BlackBerry. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit TexasRangers.com for details. And it's not just the spring training scores. You'll be getting those scores and all those details all season long with At Bat 11.
John, we were talking about younger players starting the season and the commitment you make to younger players. It varies depending on the type of team you have, too. If you're a young developing team or a rebuilding team and you've got a young player that you believe in can be a good player in the future, chances are you might stick with him maybe for the whole year and longer as you watch him develop. The Rangers don't quite have that luxury. They're a team that's built to be a contender, built to win. And while you want to develop young players, the ultimate goal is to win. And so those young players may not get the same length, the same opportunity that a similar player on a bad team would get, because you're trying to win games. And that's part of the business of baseball. And that commitment could be 100 at bats, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months, but it's not forever. It's all about getting the job done.
Yeah, especially after last year. The Rangers are built to win now, take that next step, and not only make it to the World Series, but everybody in Surprise, everybody in that Rangers organization is focused and concentrating on winning the World Series in 2011. This one's lined right to Elvis. He makes the play, and there's one away. Matt Harrison back in there. He had thrown 76 pitches coming into the inning, and 80 was the sort of tentative number, the target number, but it was supposed to be 5 innings too. So we're going to see Matt for at least the 4th. He's clearly going past the 80 pitch mark, but not sure we'll see him again in the 5th, but we shall see. Top of the order.
I think Ron will let him get through the 4th inning if he can keep it under 90 pitches. He just wants him to finish strong, battle through the first couple of innings where he was struggling with his command through a lot of pitches. Just wants him to battle through that and finish strong.
He's now retired 4 in a row, the first such stretch of the game. He issued a leadoff walk to start the 3rd, but then got the next 3 batters on 2 pop-outs. 3 unassisted. Now there's 2 plays to Elvis. He makes that one too. Matt Harrison has now retired 5 in a row and has a chance to have his best inning yet. Asdrubal Cabrera comes up. He had that 2 RBI double in the 2nd inning. Got thrown out on trying to stretch it to a triple.
With a better command now.
Yeah.
Throwing his pitches where he wants to.
Chant goes up again for Asdrubal.
Oh, this guy has a full headdress on.
Oh, and there's the drum. I hear the drum. Having a little fun here at the spring training complex as Asdrubal gets a hold of that one, and it's going a long way, and it's not coming back. A home run to tie the score at 4.
We talked about Cabrera. 2 years ago, he had 308, 42 doubles, knocked in almost 70 runs, stole 17 bases. He's a good little player. He missed a couple of months last year. He fractured his left forearm and only played 4 months of the season. Didn't quite duplicate the numbers from the year before, but he's a good player. And he shows that he's more than just a little punch and Judy guy. He gets a high fastball and drives it over the bullpen in left field. Not much doubt about that one.
And now it's another tough out. Shin-Soo Choo, and he slices that one foul.
They've got some good players. If Grady Sizemore is healthy, they've got a frontline center fielder, Carlos Santana, one of the best young catchers in the game right now. Cabrera is a really good potential all-star caliber player. Chu, the same thing. So Maniac has got some young players to build around.
Sizemore is expected to be back in the lineup finally on Sunday. He originally injured his knee sliding in an exhibition game on April the 1st last year. That one's chopped to first base. And Mitch Moreland will take it himself, and the side is retired, but they get a run on the home run by Cabrera. We are tied at 4 after 4. Texas Rangers baseball on TX AT 21 is brought to you by Insurance Depot. Get a quote in 5 seconds at insurancedepot.com. And by Texas Toyota of Grapevine. If it doesn't say Texas Toyota of Grapevine, you probably paid too much. And it's 4-4 after 4 in Goodyear, Arizona. Carlos Carrasco comes out there for another inning of work against Elvis Andrus. Carrasco with 72 pitches now. He had 71 coming into the inning. Just 12 in the last half as he threw 10 strikes and 2 balls.
I like the fact that Ron Washington, Mike Maddox pushed Matt Harrison to go out there for that last inning. Would have been easy to take him out. He was right around 80 pitches, but they said, go out there and finish it off. Put a few extra pitches on the board. Ended up giving up the home run, but he still got the 4th inning in.
Yeah, and he threw 13 pitches. It was a pretty good frame. 10 strikes, 3 balls. 89 on the night so far, and Elvis grounds this one at second. Play made there by the other Cabrera. And there's one away. So 89 pitches for Matt Harrison. We presume his night is over.
Hey, his name isn't Other. It begins with an O, but it's not Other. Mostly a shortstop throughout his major league career, playing second right now.
I think that's where the Indians like him, as David grounds that one foul and hops into the seats. This is my other brother, Other. Oh, 0-1 the count to David Murphy. Carrasco with a big wind and a strike. It's 0-2. Murph reached on catcher's interference for the 2nd straight night his last time up. This one's high for a ball. Slices at that one. David later scored in the RBI single by Yorvit Torrealba. Part of that 3-run third. And make it a 2-run third. He turns on this one. Did he get enough of that one? Yes, he did. It's off into the Arizona night. Fourth of the spring for David Murphy, and the Rangers lead it 5-4.
Well, they talk about all the guys that can launch the ball on the backfields during batting practice. Josh Hamilton, Nelly Cruz. And you don't hear David Murphy's name mentioned much, but if you talk to the players, they know where he can hit a ball. That ball went way out here. It went over the bleachers in right field. There was no doubt about that. That's where the big boys hit him. And David's got that kind of power.
Got a big smile on his face now.
Boy, he threw him a pitch right down the middle of the plate. He takes his best swing, makes his best contact. And that's about a 450-foot shot.
And now it's 2-0 to Nelly Cruz as David rightly gets his congratulations.
That's over the silver seats.
Did that get over that other fence out there? I think it may have hopped over that other fence. Yeah. Out of the yard. Hit it out of the yard. And the Rangers take a 1-run lead. And Nelly Cruz takes a 4-pitch walk. So Carrasco struggling just a little bit here now in the 5th inning.
Manny Acta was hoping that Carrasco could come out and finish off the 5th inning, kind of like Matt Harrison came out and finished off the 4th inning.
But that will do it.
Home run in the walk, he's not going to make it.
No, that's going to do it for Carrasco. His night is over. We will tell you about that man, Josh Judy, when we come back. The new Indians pitcher headed toward the mound. The Rangers now lead it 5-4. And the Rangers take a 5-4 lead on the David Murphy home run that went out of the stadium here at Goodyear Ballpark. John Radigan and Tom Grieve up here in a pretty good perch. We're kind of high, but we've got a pretty good vantage point of this ballpark.
All these spring training sites in Arizona are just beautiful ballparks. This is a great one to watch a game in. We're a little high, a little far from the field, but we're not complaining.
No, it's one of the best seats in the house. We're up here in the catbird seat, and we got a pretty good crowd on hand to watch the Rangers and the Indians in a bit of a slugfest here. Back and forth goes this one, and here's the new pitcher, Josh Judy, who has not yet made his major league debut. Farmhand for the Cleveland Indians. He's got a 9 ERA so far this spring. Spent all but 2 games at AAA Columbus a year ago. The only 2 that he didn't pitch there were on a rehab assignment when he was at AA Akron. And he's 1-1 with Mitch Moreland now. Running at first base is Nelly Cruz, who drew a walk and got a single and an RBI earlier in the game. Nelly struck out his first time up. Mitch is 0 for 2, but he grounds this one towards second. The throw to second is in time. Nice play over there by Cabrera, covering second base. He grabs it with the bare hand and retires Nelly.
Yeah, that's a dangerous play, but a beautiful play by both Cabreras. The first Cabrera goes in the hole, jumps, throws on a hop, and Asdrubal catches it with his right hand. That's a nice play all the way around. Might have been a little safer to go to first to make sure you get one out, but they got away with it.
Got the lead runner. Mitch Moreland's now at first base, and there are 2 away for Yorvi Torrealba. RBI single and a walk for him. And that one is right down the middle, and it's 0-1. Rangers in the midst of a 3-game spring losing streak, and it's the longest of the spring for them so far. They would like to see that go the other way. And now it's driven into center field, and on the run to make the play is Michael Brantley. So the side is retired, but the Rangers get a run off the bat of David Murphy. What a great sound. And it's 5-4. Five to 4 Texas now on a beautiful night for baseball in the Valley of the Sun. Rangers trying to win their first night game of the year and trying to snap that 3-game losing streak with lots of red-clad Rangers fans on hand to enjoy the action here. And Cody Epley is the new Rangers pitcher. Matt Harrison went 4 innings, allowing 4 runs on 4 hits. He had 3 strikeouts. He had 4 walks, too. A couple of wild pitches and 1 hit by pitch. All 4 of those runs, incidentally, were earned. And so Matt Harrison's night is over. He threw 89 pitches on the night, but just 13 in the last inning. And really, his last 2 innings were his best. He had the only blemish in the 3rd was a walk and leadoff walk, and the only blemish in the 4th was that 1 pitch that Asdrubal Cabrera hit out. And so now it's Epley, the inaugural minor league reliever of the year in 2010. He's in big league camp for the first time as a non-roster player. And he starts Austin Kearns off with a strike. Kearns a little inside, so it's 1-1. Epley pitched for each of the Rangers' top 3 minor league affiliates last year, combining to go 5-2 with 16 saves, and his ERA was 2.08 in 51 relief outings. And this one is hit by Kearns deep to left field. Back on the warning track is David Murphy, and he makes the play. So it's nothing but a long out for Austin Kearns.
I think he hit that on the good part of the bat. He just didn't have much behind it.
We'll bring up Travis Hafner.
Generally, a kid strong as Kearns, if he hits it well, he's not going to have a hard time hitting it in the Ranger bullpen.
Tom talked about how the shoulder injuries have robbed Hafner of some of his production. If you look back to 05 and 06, he was over 300 with the average in each of those years, 305 and 308. He had 33 home runs in 2005 and 42 bombs in 2006. Sort of the prime of his career in Cleveland.
And after those years, he signed a long contract that runs through 2012. Because of the injury, he's not a guy that's getting 500 or 600 at bats anymore. Good changeup right there by Epley, and that's something he needs against a lefty like Hafner. Got around 400 at bats, and the last couple of years he's about 275 hitter with 15 home runs. Boy, there for 3 or 4 years, he was one of the more dangerous hitters in the league. Looked like he was going to hit a line drive every swing he took.
Chops this one to third. Davis takes it on a big hop. Tough throw, and not in time after that high hop took so long to get to Chris Davis.
No, Chris didn't have the time. He came down, planted, and threw. He made a nice play and a strong throw. He just didn't have the time to take all that. He had to throw it the minute he caught it and just hope he could get the throw across there, because Hafner was going to beat that out, taking that much time.
But it's ruled a base hit. And Hafner is on first base with an infield single. It'll bring up Orlando Cabrera. Epley starts him off outside. It's 1-0.
The other side of it, if Chris did throw it quicker, Hafner's probably going to beat it out anyway, because he wouldn't have been able to get as much on the throw. It's one of those high choppers. Chris was playing over toward shortstop.
Way outside by Epley, and Cabrera settles in with his newest team, the Indians. Orlando's played for the Expos, the Angels, the White Sox, the Athletics, the Twins, the Red Sox, and now the Indians. Darren Oliver up and throwing in the Rangers bullpen. Cody Epley behind 3 balls and no strikes to the 36-year-old veteran Cabrera. There's Ollie. But there is a walk, a 4-pitch walk by Epley, and there are runners at first and second. Here comes Matt Laporta. A strikeout and a pop out as Mike Maddox comes out to chat with the young Cody Epley. Bakersfield, Frisco, and Oklahoma City last year. He had 9 saves in Frisco. Just 1 in Oklahoma City. Of course, he began his year at the high A level, where he had an 18-inning stretch where he did not allow a run in 14 relief appearances. He was 6 for 6 in save opportunities in Bakersfield. That is what earned him the promotion to Frisco. The 9 saves there earned him the promotion to Oklahoma City. And it's likely that he'll get some more seasoning now at AAA Round Rock or perhaps AA Frisco. He's getting an opportunity here tonight. However, that's 5 straight balls as he starts Laporta off with one on the inside. Swing and a miss. And it's 1-1.
One of those pitches that looked like a Laporta was just guessing he was going to get a strike. Made up his mind to swing and
swung at a bad pitch.
Yeah, the sinker down and in was way out of the strike zone. Sometimes hitters will do that. Look for a pitch you can drive. Part of the game, you want to hit a home run. Behind in the count, ahead in the count, looking for a fastball.
There's another wave and a miss.
That's the one he was hoping to get the last pitch. Just threw that one by him. See it sink right at the end. Might have sunk right underneath his bat.
Laporta's from Port Charlotte, Florida.
Wow, he must have grown up watching the Rangers.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Born in 1985, and he gets into this one, gets a hold of it. It's a straightaway center field. Back to try and get it as Bourbon. It's over his head. He can't catch up to that one. One run is home. Here comes the other one. Laporta's headed to third base, and it's a 2-run triple for Matt Laporta. 10 RBIs on the spring for him.
A lot of room out in center field. That's a big center field, 410 feet. He had a long way to run. Just couldn't quite track it down. Laporta puts a charge in it. And Julio sprints back. Looks like he might be near it. I guess he was near it, but not near enough to catch it.
But it appears as though he learns the lesson from last night, not to drift back on that ball, but he sprinted back. He just couldn't catch up to it.
Yeah, he got, you know, I think he thought he was a little closer to the wall than he really was, too.
So it's 6-5 Cleveland. Jack Hanahan at the plate. Nepley is outside and behind Hanahan 2-0. That one's a little low. And it's 3-0. And another 4-pitch walk by Cody Epley. Runners at first and third. And here comes the 9th place hitter, Lou Marson. Marson had an RBI yesterday and accounted for the only run that the Indians scored against the Reds. Mike Maddox on a walkie-talkie down to the bullpen, it appears. The Reds are the other team that call this place home, so the runner goes. Throw down to second base is into center field, and here comes the run. Matt Laporta scores. Bad throw by Torrealba, and it's an error on the catcher.
Yeah, Yorvie really didn't have much of a chance on that play. He couldn't get the ball out of his glove really quickly and then decided to throw it. And even with a perfect throw, I don't think he had a chance to get him. As it was, the ball just kind of sailed on him. Allowed the run to score.
So here's the 0-1 to Marson. Popped up. Shallow center field. Coming on is Julio Bourbon. He makes the play. And there are 2 away. That'll bring up Michael Brantley. See our old buddy Mark McLemore sitting in the dugout and wearing a uniform tonight. He was out on the back fields helping out in his alumni role with some of the infielders today. And Mac, of course, wore the uniform through the pregame show here on TXA 21 so that he would be allowed to sit in the dugout with Ron Washington. He and Wash have a great relationship. Wash loves talking baseball with anyone, but he really enjoys baseball conversations with a guy who loves to talk baseball, Mark McLemore. He does it on TXA 21 and the pregame shows, and you'll also see him on Rangers Live on Fox Sports throughout the course of the season. This one is sliced into left field. David Murphy there to make the play. Brantley retired. The side retired, but the Indians take the lead, and now it is 7-5 after 5 innings of play. Cleveland scores 3 in the 6th. They take, rather in the bottom of the 5th, and take a 7-5 lead. And we remind you about the Rangers' 10-game plans. Guarantee the same great seat for 10 games plus an 11th game free. Each plan includes 3 premier games at regular prices and secures the chance to purchase tickets to postseason games as well. Reserve your seat today at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS, extension 3. For those 10-game plans that are actually 11-game plans. There's a conflicted fan. Rangers hat and a Yankees jersey. Or is that a Rangers hat? Maybe that's his, oh, it's an Angels
He's
hat.
into it, boy.
He's definitely into it and slightly confused, but we're okay. There's a Rangers fan next to him. Chris Davis getting ready to start off the 6th inning. And he'll do it against the new pitcher, Rafael Perez. Rafi Left, he is nicknamed, 6'3", 195-pounder. There's a strike to Davis. He's Rafi Left because Rafael Betancourt is Rafi Right, at least in the Indian fan nickname nomenclature. Cut and a miss by Chris, and it's 0-2. See Perez's numbers from a year ago.
He's a good solid lefty. Come in and get a left-hand hitter out. Got that slider that's very tough for a left-hand hitter to hit. Only gave up 3 home runs last year.
And he got Davis on 3 pitches.
He can pitch more than just to lefties, but he's especially tough on lefties. You can see why with those last 2 sliders to Chris.
Peter Gammons once called Rafael the best left-handed reliever on the planet.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if Peter was still working for the paper, though, and trying to sell papers, or maybe he was already at the MLB Network. I don't think Peter's normally prone to superlative. This one's chopped to first. Oh, tough play. Perez can't make it.
Perez is all right, but he expected Laporta to take that himself. I think it was going to be a pretty easy play for Laporta. Laporta took a step and then just flipped it, and I don't think Perez was ready for it.
Although they call the error on Perez, it's E1. Yeah,
well,
he should have been ready. He was standing on the base. Yeah,
we saw the same play a couple of days ago. Perez is looking down for the bag, and it's difficult because the ball is behind him, so he has to look for the bag. Usually you can look for the bag and catch the thrower, the first baseman, out of the corner of your eye. In that case, where he fielded it and where first base was made it such that Perez had to look for the bag and then turn all the way around to see the ball. He just wasn't able to do it. So yeah, he was ready for the ball. I saw that a couple of games ago where a pitcher had the same problem. Made it look like he wasn't ready, but he really was. He just couldn't pick up the ball.
Andres Blanco turns on this one. It's headed to deep left field. Back to play it, though, is Austin Kearns. And back to first goes Chad Tracy. Blanco hit that on a line. Kearns was able to catch up with it.
I think in that instance, if the first baseman realized it's an awkward throw and awkward for the pitcher to see him throw the ball, and he can take it himself, you're always better off just calling off the pitcher and say, I've got it, get him out of the way and just run over and tag the base.
Top of the order for the Rangers, it's Julio Bourbon. Grounded over the head of the pitcher, but the play is made by the two Cabreras. Keystone combination comes through and gets it the easy way, and the side is retired. It's 7-5 Indians as we head to the bottom of the sixth. Indians lead at 7-5. Rangers have a new battery. Mike Napoli is now behind the plate, replacing Yorvik Torrealba. And the new pitcher is the lefty Darren Oliver, making just his third A-game appearance of the spring. You see the numbers from last year. 64 games. And at 40-plus years old, Darren Oliver is glad that Arthur Rhodes is here, a guy who's just like him. They can share some of those duties. Last game Ollie pitched in the spring was a B game against Kansas City on Nolan Ryan Field in Surprise. He started that game, retired the first 5 that he faced, 24 pitches and 19 strikes. So he started against Asdrubal Cabrera. Ollie had a perfect third inning in his last A outing against the Cubs on the 3rd of March, way back then. Wave and a miss by Cabrera there. I was thinking that in all the TV games we've done so far, and even the webcast that we did, I didn't think we'd seen Oliver. There he is. All right, there's the guy in the headdress. Headdress and a halter, so that troubles me. Yeah, that troubles me. Isn't that a halter? You hit him? You got him. Cabrera is headed to first base. Yeah. I suppose it's Indian garb, but it looks like a halter to me. A few too many. It's a few too much fringe on there for me. Shin Soo Choo. Wave and a miss at the Oliver offering. Now Darren steps off. That one is fouled off, and Darren's ahead of him 0-2. 40-year-old Oliver in his second season of his third stint with the Rangers. And very much a team leader. Very much a clubhouse guy. I was in there one day when most of the regulars were staying back, and a lot of the younger players were making a trip, and the workout was scheduled at 10. It was about 8:30 in the morning, and Ali shouted out, "Hey, does anybody want to wait till 10?" And everybody agreed with Ali. Let's get it over sooner. So he gets the strikeout there of Chu.
Attention, please, fans, for the Indians. Batting for Kearns, number 30, Chad Huffman.
And we're starting to get some changes as Chad Huffman comes in for Austin Kearns. Typically the time of a game in spring training that we'll see the changes. We're in the 6th inning with the Rangers trailing 7-5. And Oliver chases Cabrera back to first base. Chad Huffman, who played baseball and football at TCU, was an All-American in baseball. So honored by Baseball America. His older brother Royce was a Padres farmhand too during the 2007 season. The runner goes. Throw is high, and he is in safely.
Napoli didn't have any chance right there. Big jump. Mike got rid of the ball quickly, made a good strong throw. Just never had a chance. Goes a little high, but it wouldn't matter.
Chant goes up again after Cabrera steals second base. Turned on, but foul. Down the line and left from Huffman. Originally, he was drafted by the Padres in the June draft of '06. Yankees claimed him off waivers in April of last year. And he was waived by the Yankees in September. So the Indians claimed him, and here he is. Trying to find his way onto a roster. Oliver's a little outside with that one, and it's 1-2. Travis Hafner is on deck. It appears as though he will bat. Inside from Oliver, and it's 2-2. Runner at second base is Asdrubal Cabrera. This one is fouled straight back to the screen. And it stays 2-2. Indians lost a split squad game today. A bunch of Indians players were up at our ballpark in Surprise playing the Kansas City Royals. And the Indians fell 6-5 to the Royals. The Royals, the top hitting team in the American League this spring. Indians are 7-10 in Cactus League play. That's 10th in the league. The Rangers fell to a game below 500 last night at 9-10-1. They'd like to put a few more runs on the board and turn that around, at least get back to 500 in game number 21 of Cactus League play. Low for a ball and a walk by Darren Oliver, so there are runners at first and second with one out.
Tough pitch to lay off of right there. Curveball close to being a strike.
And here comes Travis Hafner.
Start to swing, but stopped in time.
Mentioned that Hafner was from Jamestown, North Dakota. His high school, Sykeston, North Dakota, did not have a baseball program. He grew up playing American Legion baseball, but no high school baseball program in his small high school. Takes a strike there. He is in the North Dakota American Legion Hall of Fame for his exploits on the diamond playing American Legion ball. Kurt Dykert in the truck wondering if they had a 4-H in his town. I bet they did. Hafner sky high into right center field. Back to play it is Nelly Cruz, and he catches it on the run. Tagging at second base, and into third standing up is Cabrera.
Boy, he just missed hitting that one a long way. That thing had about the same kind of hang time the one Laporta hit to Bourbon in center field had, only Nelly was able to run this one down. He had to run a long time, and it looks like there's a lot of room out there. Keeps going and going. Makes a play on it.
Yeah, made a late adjustment to get that one. Thankfully. Go a long way. Hafner knows he just missed it. And here comes Orlando Cabrera. Hitting .348 for the spring. He takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. This one is popped up. Andres Blanco at second base makes the play on the outfield grass, and the side is retired. That will do it for the Indians. Nothing across. It's still 7-5 after 6. Texas Rangers baseball on TXA 21 is brought to you by Whataburger, just like you like it. And by Sports City Toyota. Come see us at sportscitytoyota.com. Rangers and the Indians, and during the inning break, the Indian made the heinous mistake of getting up on the dugout to tell Cabrera, as Drew Ball Cabrera, we're not worthy, and then he was escorted out of the building. Now, I believe that's the fashion police. That's he didn't do anything wrong there. You're allowed to say we're not worthy. You're just not allowed to wear the halter top. And so the fashion police got him. And he's done for the night. And Tom's thinking about going on top of one of the dugouts and saying we're not worthy.
I don't think they want you on top of the dugout.
Yeah, clearly that's not it.
I like the guy. He injected some enthusiasm into the ballpark.
He did.
Yeah, he was everywhere. He was up top here. He was down in the right field, left field.
Dugout.
Fans were happy. Fans were smiling at him.
He was having fun.
He gets kicked out of the games.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Even as he was being escorted out, he was having a little fun.
Kick the people out who are sleeping, not the ones that are injecting enthusiasm into the game.
Inside to Elvis. And it's 2-1. Justin Hermano is the new pitcher. His spring number is pretty good. No ERA yet in 5 games. And Elvis loops this one into center field. And there to make the play is Brantley. And it's David Murphy's turn. The Rangers regulars play on into the 7th inning here. Often we see them depart after the 6th. But Elvis and David were starters in this game, and both get their opportunity to hit. Figure if they get on, there will be a pinch runner for them. Justin Hermano, pitcher, 6'2", 210 pounds, was drafted by the Padres. But made his major league debut and got a win against the Phillies as a starter. He got traded to the Reds and became a reliever. Spent some time in Japan, too. David slaps this one into left field.
Good job of hitting right there. He took a fastball, took a curveball, tried to drop that one on the back door on him, and he just reached out and flicked it on a line into left field. Very nice job of hitting. He's got this well-stroked single on a tough pitch to left field and a tape measure home run to right field in the game.
And a catcher's interference.
Yep, scored a couple of runs. What do you expect from David Murphy? And the other time he was up, he hit a line shot, probably as hard a ball as he's hit all night, right to right field. Chin made a nice play on it.
That one's grounded to short. Nelly Cruz is out.
Chin. That's kind of like a short name putting it all together. Actually, it's Shin, not Chin. Shin Soo Choo.
Well, we knew who you meant.
It's kind of a nickname I give him.
It sounded like to me like you said Shin. I thought you were just calling him by his first name.
No.
Although I actually think his first name is Shin Soo.
Right.
Right?
I guess it is.
I think it is, because there's the hyphen between the Shin and the Soo.
Kind of a parent names their kid Sue.
Boy named Sue.
Johnny Cash tell you all you need to know about that.
This one's popped up, shallow left field. On to make the play is Kearns. And Mitch Moreland is out, and the side is retired. Rangers still trail by 2. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Rangers trail at 7-5 in the bottom of the 7th inning. New pitcher and wholesale changes that we'll get to momentarily. But we got to give Tom Grieve props. He said earlier in the game that you could take the play on a catcher's interference, and lo and behold, when David Murphy had his last at-bat, that's essentially what they did, Tom.
Well, the ball that he lines to left field, I didn't notice this, but there's a great shot of it. He actually hit the catcher's mitt again, but somehow was still able to hit the ball and line it into left field. And therefore, rather than take the catcher's interference, David and the Rangers will take the base hit to left field. We had a game last year where we had catcher interference twice. Technically, he's had the same thing today, and he had one yesterday. We have a guest in the truck that helped us with that call.
Yeah.
Baseball expert, better known as Victor Rojas.
Great to have Victor here. I haven't had a chance to speak with him yet. He came up and said hi in the booth earlier, but the Angels play-by-play man and former radio man for the Rangers, Victor Rojas, is here, so hopefully he'll still be around at the end of the game. We can catch up. We're going to have to put him on the credits tonight, apparently. Mark Lowe is the new pitcher for the Rangers, and he's facing Matt Laporta. Numbers in the spring for Lowe.
Well, Mark was talking about his spring the other day and said he has tried not to focus on results, just tried to focus on making his pitches, getting in shape. Says he feels great. He's had good velocity. Says his breaking ball is what comes around last for him, and that's probably hurt him a little bit. Hasn't been able to command his breaking ball, but last time we saw him, his fastball was anywhere from 96 to 97 miles an hour. So coming off his injury last year, he's definitely healthy and throwing the ball well right now. Now it's just a matter of putting it all together and commanding his pitches the way he wants to.
Now a little table talk to our producer, our main producer, Kurt Diker. If you can execute our changes camera, we'll get to some of the changes that the Rangers have made in this half inning, which are wholesale. After the full count pitch from Lowe is fouled back. Napoli's at catcher. We told you that last time. Barden, Garcia, Osuna, and Ruiz around the infield. Chavez in left. David Murphy moves to center, and it's Doug Deeds out there in right field. You see him out there on the far right-hand part of your screen. I'm sure you can tell that's Doug Deeds out there. And those are the changes for the Rangers. David Murphy, the only one who has stayed in the game, and he moves over to center field as Laporta draws a walk from Mark Lowe. Well executed by our main producer, but then again, he's got help in the truck. And there's Doug Deeds, so you get a better look at the new right fielder for the Rangers. Regulars got an extra inning of work today, and they all headed to the bus during this last half inning. None of them are left in the dugout. They are all in the bus. Lowe's inside, quick throw down to first from Mike Napoli. Ruiz stops it. And back in time is Laporta. 7-5 Indians in a back and forth game at the Goodyear Ballpark in Goodyear, Arizona. Jack Hanahan still in there for the Indians, and he takes a big cut and a miss. And it's 1-1. Lowe chasing Laporta back. Matt had that triple in the 5th inning. Now he's on base again. This one is grounded in the hole and into right field. Laporta is rounding second. He'll head to third. Deeds up with it quickly, and they hold Hanahan to a single, but there are runners at first and third with nobody out for Mark Lowe. He almost went down on a knee a la Adrian Beltre there with that swing.
Yep, just snuck it by Ruiz at first base. Well placed ground ball.
And now it'll be Lou Marson as Mark Lowe tries to work out of a jam, and Ron Washington looks on from a nearly empty dugout. Just his coaches left over there. Not very many extra players. Everybody else headed to the bus. Inside from Lowe. He allowed 4 runs on 5 hits while throwing the 7th inning Wednesday against Colorado, and it was about him. And I guess Darren O'Day a little bit that the line of questions began as he checks the runners at first and third. The line of questions began to Ron Washington. They were reiterated to Nolan Ryan today. Are you worried about the bullpen? Nolan's exact quote was, "I never made a club out of spring training." Basically meaning that he's not going to make a big deal out of guys with a track record in spring training. That's exactly what Wash told us a couple of days ago after Lowe and O'Day both struggled against the Rockies. Lowe came over in the deal with Cliff Lee for Justin Smoke and the others. And now he's behind Marson, 2-0. Grounded to second and in the hole. Another run is home. And the inning continues for the Indians, who now lead at 8-5. Back-to-back seeing eye singles to right. And here comes the top of the order.
Yeah, with a little bit of luck, both of those balls could have been turned into double plays. He gets the ground ball, and it just gets by the second baseman.
Osuna.
Renny Osuna.
Yep, Renny Osuna. And here comes Michael Brantley. Manny Acta opting to let his regulars bat in the 7th inning as well.
Yeah, with a split squad game today, probably might not have any choice. And it's getting towards the point in spring training where there's no reason why young regulars can't play 9 innings in a game.
And we'll breathe a sigh of relief when that happens. These wholesale changes of 18 new players in the 6th or 7th inning, getting just a little bit old. Nobody out in the inning, and Mark Lowe works against the leadoff man, Michael Brantley. Outside, high. It's 1-0. Rangers baseball operations people from Nolan Ryan on down had a big meeting today, about a 2-hour-long meeting to discuss the nuances and the thoughts about the 25-man roster. This one is hit sky high into right field. Doug Deeds is there to make the play. Runner goes, and he is in standing at third base.
Well, a lot of the 2 hours, I'm sure, was spent on the starting rotation. Neftali Feliz was probably talked about. Ogando talked about. Starters, or are they relievers? The performance of the left-handers that are all fighting for a job. David Bush in there. Tommy Hunter. I'm sure that took up the majority of the hour. But then, as you mentioned, Chris Davis was probably talked about.
Sure.
Big spring he's had. He's opened up some eyes. Not that he was an unknown commodity coming into spring training, but he sure had a good spring. Other than that, there's not a lot of things to talk about. I guess you have to talk about who's going to be the closer if Feliz is in the rotation.
Mark Lowe was one of the candidates, certainly. Last couple of outings haven't voted quite as well for him. But again, Nolan said, as did Wash, not too worried about a guy with a track record with what he does in the middle of March.
Well, the other guy that, if Felice is in the rotation, it'd be pretty hard to have Ogando in the rotation too. That's probably not going to happen. But even though Ogando has never been a closer before, Felice had never been a closer really until last year, and he certainly did pretty well at it at the ripe age of 21. Ogando is not 21; he's in his late 20s. Inexperienced, but he's got the kind of arm that you look at him and think he might be able to be a closer. I would.
Seems to have the same kind of mentality that Felice has too.
Got pretty good command of his slider. Fastball is mostly 97 miles an hour. Working on his changeup, which he definitely would need to do to be a starter.
And the 2-1 to Cabrera is inside. It's 3-1. Lou Marson at first base. Jack Hanahan is at third. And there is one out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Back. Pitch. Low for a ball, and the bases are loaded with Indians. Mark Lowe will try to work out of this one out, bases loaded jam. And he'll do it against a pretty good hitter, Shin-Soo Choo. He had a double in the 2nd inning after being hit by a pitch in the 1st. Since then, he's been retired twice in a row. 3 unassisted and a strikeout. There's a curveball that gets him swinging.
Choo's one of the few major leaguers who wears that kind of a helmet that has a flap on both sides. Don't need it hitting. Comes in handy on the bases, though. Get hit by an errant throw. They wear those hats in the minor leagues. Those helmets in the minor leagues. Not many big leaguers.
He rips into this one, and it is down and in the gap in right center field. All 3 runs will come in to score. Choo, with lots of speed, is in standing at third base. A bases clearing triple by Shin-Soo Choo. And the Indians pad their lead.
Throwing him an off-speed pitch that Choo was way out in front of on the first pitch. He throws him a second one, and he was on that one. That one stayed up in the strike zone. And the change of speeds didn't fool Choo after he saw the first pitch.
David Murphy getting some work out there in center field, but there was nobody who was going to catch that one. Mike Maddox now out chatting with his pitcher Mark Lowe. Mike Napoli is out there as well. Choo's a little winded over there on third base. Chad Huffman will now be the batter. He replaced Austin Kearns in the 6th inning. Zach Jackson out there warming up in the Rangers bullpen. Huffman, the only replacement player so far for Manny Acta.
Got one on deck. Matt McBride is on deck. Looks like he's going to hit for the DH Travis Hafner.
For now, it's the former Horned Frog, Huffman. With a walk last half inning, or last sixth inning. That was up high.
Boy, that's in the danger zone right there.
That one's in there for a strike, and it's 2-1. 11-5 now in favor of the Indians after they put up 4 more here in the 7th inning. Outside, and it's 3-1. Popped up foul and out of play. Sounded like it hit something hard back there. Mike Maddox. Hope for more out of Mark Lowe tonight. Rangers will send Feliz to the mound tomorrow against Seattle. Ron Washington and Gary Pettis, the first base and outfield coach. Wave and a miss. And Huffman goes down swinging. It's the second out of the inning. And here comes Matt McBride.
Well, after seeing a couple of 95-mile-an-hour fastballs, Huffman out in front of the off-speed offering. A lot of pitches for Mark so far this inning. This will be the 8th batter he faces.
And the changes are being executed now as McBride comes in. Valbuena's on deck. And Lowe starts him off with a strike. McBride, that is. Feliz will face Fabio Castro tomorrow. It's a 105 game that you can listen to but not watch tomorrow's game. Eric Nadel and Dave Barnett with the call of the game on 103.3 FM ESPN, the new radio home for the Rangers. Don't forget about that. They have moved to ESPN Radio 103.3 FM. Eric and Dave will be there. This one is lined into right, and Matt McBride is out. And after 8 batters, the side is retired. We are headed to the 8th inning with the Rangers trailing by 6. Rangers trail by half a dozen. It's 11-5 now. We're headed to the 8th inning. Coca-Cola Total Family Packs offer up to 50% savings for most Sunday through Thursday Ranger games. Choose from upper or lower reserved seats and receive 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs and Cokes, plus $20 in sports park tokens and a souvenir program. Order online at texasrangers.com/family. It is a great value for Rangers fans, many of whom are here tonight and will no doubt take advantage of that. Mike Napoli coming to the plate. He replaces Jorvi Torrealba in the Rangers lineup as catcher. And the 6th place hitter, Chad Durbin, is the new pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. We'll get to the other changes that they have made in just a moment. Durbin starts Napoli off with a strike. No, it's 0-2 to Mike. That one's a little outside. Another one outside. This one's in the dirt, and it's 2-2. Brian Barden on deck for the Rangers. And it's now 3-2.
Durbin didn't sign until March 1st. They signed him to a major league contract on March 1st, kind of a late addition. He's a veteran guy coming off a halfway decent year.
Napoli turns on this one. Did he get enough? Not quite. It's off the wall. And Mike Napoli trots into second base with a leadoff double.
Kind of hit it a little toward the end of the bat, and it was hooking from right to left. Kind of fooled the left fielder, Chad Huffman. Got it turned around a little bit. Had top spin on it, so it really didn't have the kind of ball flight to carry out of the ballpark. Hit it pretty well, though, right to the back of the warning track.
And Huffman plays the carom and holds Napoli to a double. We'll bring up Brian Barden. Brian's hitting .333 on the spring with 3 runs batted in. A couple of doubles already this spring as well. That one's fouled off as we get ready to execute change cam. Wholesale changes defensively for the Cleveland Indians. Hanahan is about the only regular left in there. It's Huffman in left. Jordan Henry is out there in center field. Jared Head in right. Hanahan's at third. Valbuena has the shortstop. Sanchez now at second base. Laporta stays in at first, and Luis Apodaca is the new catcher. So there are the changes, as you can see very clearly on change cam. Low and away there.
You know who's not a big fan of the change cam? The moms of those
players,
replacement players out there in the outfield. Stayed up late, see their sons, want a close up, see how they look, see if they've shaved today.
You know, usually
they don't really like that wide angle.
Usually we do a headshot of one player. Maybe we should. Yeah, I was going to say maybe we should do Jared Head. Yeah, a headshot of Jared Head.
Jared's mom's probably watching. She feels a lot better now.
There's Jordan Henry. Mom is feeling better about
Henry
that.
Feels a lot better.
There's Chad Huffman. A lot of people who are Horned Frog fans are feeling better about seeing the former Froggy.
Absolutely. See, we can kind of do it any way you want. We can give you the wide view. We can give you the close-up view.
That's Sanchez at second.
Very interesting first name.
How about Valbuena?
Luis Valbuena, Carexon, K-A-R-E-X-O-N, Sanchez.
It is a unique first name. And this one is lined into left field. Here comes Napoli to score. Chad Tracy with another RBI. It's 2 on the night for him. And the Rangers have cut the lead to 11-6.
Second baseman, number 98, Renny Osuna.
Renny Osuna, the next batter. Tracy at first base. Oh, there's the third baseman, Jack Hanahan.
Mrs. Hanahan's already seen him today.
Yeah, she's gotten a chance to see him, so that's bonus for her. And there's Apodaca. Yep. He mugged for the camera just a little bit. So there you go. All the moms are happy tonight now, too.
They should be. They deserve to be.
But change cam is not easy to pull off. Highly skilled, trained professionals in the truck who execute change cam. That's the face of Renny Osuna. Spent most of the year in Frisco last year, and that ball was up near his face, a little too close to his face for comfort. Turns on that one, but pulls it foul. And they will scramble for it out near the ice cream truck. There they go. There they go by the ice cream truck. See it? Is that ice cream? Yeah, that's ice cream, right?
Mr. Softy.
Oh, the very best. The very best. Who knew that you would have to come to Goodyear, Arizona to get the very best softy ice cream? But there it is. They couldn't put it on the truck if it wasn't true. We just lost some sort of power here in the booth. That does look good. Can you still hear us? Really good. So apparently it's the very best. Full count pitch to Osuna. Swung on and popped foul again. Nowhere near Mr. Softy. He's still got a line out there as we approach the midnight hour in Dallas-Fort Worth. 10 o'clock almost here.
Hey, Mr. Softy is the very best. Why doesn't he have a longer line than that?
Well, it is getting late for ice cream. Or is it? Popped up. Shallow center field. And the play is made there. So it'll be Doug Deeds against
If someone
Durbin.
brought you a Mr. Softy right now, would you start eating it?
Heartbeat. I would, and it would be the first thing.
Because Bill Jones would.
Would he?
Oh, yeah.
It would be the first thing I would have eaten in the booth in my short so far.
Well, you're gonna
play-by-play career.
As Mark Holtz used to say, if you want to be an announcer, you got to start eating like one.
Now, Holtzy, and I love him, but it didn't look like he missed very many meals, did it?
No, he kept in good shape, but he liked a good press box meal.
Liked a good meal, yeah.
He was a connoisseur of the press box dining room.
Well, I followed the advice of our own Kurt Dykert today, who visited the press box dining room just before me. And the lady at the door felt so bad about the fish that she was saying, you can look at it first before you pay if you want to. and before I
That's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Go to the concession stand.
That's what I thought. And before I had a chance to look at it, Kurt Dykert says, it's fine. It's fine. Eat it. So I gave her the $7 and ate the fish. I should have got
Barron may not be the best taste tester.
No, and I know. I've been on the road enough to know that.
You have to know that he hasn't eaten since last night.
Yeah.
You think he's going to worry about the quality of the fish?
No. He had a couple of fillets. He had one on a sandwich. He had, you know, fish, tater tots. I don't know what all he had. It was, yeah, she told me it was all you can eat, too. She told me to, you know, go ahead and take some salad with me.
All you two can eat because no one else has tried it all night long.
Yeah. They did have good cookies in there, though, so that was good. I'm actually looking forward to when we get back home and get more of those cookies, because I am a cookie guy.
Really?
That's the one sweet.
You're going to be in heaven this year.
Yeah, that's the one sweet that I just can't resist.
Well, you know, you might as well get it out there. What's your favorite kind of cookie?
You know, there's a cookie.
You know you like a lot, but what's your favorite kind?
There's a cookie that one of our former interns, Stacy, her mom makes it down in Stephenville, and they're Rangers fans. They're season ticket holders, and it's called, I don't know what is all in it, but it's called the Neiman Marcus, and it's got a little bit of everything: chocolate, white chocolate, caramel, butter brickle. I don't know what all. It's a really good cookie. Grounded to short. Second. The play is made by Laporta, who scoops it, and the side is retired. Rangers get a run. It is 11-6, headed to the bottom of the 8th. Fans of all varieties here in Goodyear Ballpark in Goodyear, Arizona, watching the Indians take it to the Rangers a little bit tonight. 11-6 right now as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Rangers bring in a new pitcher, Zach Jackson. We will see him again. Zach, who is helping Ian Kinsler bring Blue Sox back. But when Zach at 6'5", 220 pounds, shows off the Blue Sox, you see a lot more of the Blue Sox than when the 6-foot Ian Kinsler does. But you see there, he's bringing Blue Sox back. Old school look there. Fifth appearance of the year for Jackson. And he'll face Valbuena. He's the new shortstop, although batting in place of the second baseman, Orlando Cabrera. Outside and low. It's 1-1. 6,334 fans here. The Goodyear Ballpark tonight. Just a perfect night for baseball. It was 79 degrees at the start of the game, but it's cool and comfortable now. Wave and a miss by Valbuena. And that evens the count at 2-2. Jackson's a 27-year-old who signed in the offseason. former supplemental first-round pick of the Blue Jays. And there's a strikeout as Valbuena goes down swinging. And there's one out in the 8th. Here comes Matt Laporta, one of 2 regulars still in the game for Maniactus Cleveland Indians. Laporta's had a triple and a walk in 3 trips tonight. He started the night hitting 158. Probably raised that just a little bit, but a 158 batting average, and he had 8 RBIs. He's added to that total with a couple tonight. He's up to 10. And still not batting 200. Making the most of his hits is Matt Laporta. Grounded foul down the third baseline. And it's 1-2. That's a little bit low for a ball from Jackson. Big left-hander evens the count at 2-2. And that one is fair. It's down the third baseline. It's bounding around, and Laporta is in at double. Fan touched it, it looks like, down there, and so it is a automatic or ground rule double. Laporta is in at second base.
Third baseman, number 9, Jack Hanahan.
Take a look at how this one happened. It got just inside the bag there at third. Oh yeah, and he calls it fair, and then somebody hits it down there, so they wave it off and call it a ground rule double. And here's the other regular that appears to be going all 9. Jack Hanahan with a runner at second and 1 out against Zach Jackson. Jackson spent some time in this Indians organization. Got call-ups to the big club in 08 and 09. And there's a strike to Hanahan. In 08, he had a 2-3 record with the Indians, a 5.60 ERA in 9 games. Started all 9 of those games. He started just 1 game in 09. This one's right back to him. He looks at the runner at third, but goes to first, and there are 2 away.
Try catcher, number 70, Juan Apodaca.
Juan Apodaca now, the 9th place hitter. Replaced Marson at catcher. Wave and a miss by Apodaca with 2 out.
Good slider today for Jackson, especially to the left-handers. Sinker ball pitcher thrives on keeping the ball down around the knees, make it sink a little bit out of the strike zone.
Apodaca is another native of Caracas, Venezuela. Probably tell on TV. He's not real tall. 5'11", 180 pounds. No major league experience for Apodaca yet. Actually spent about 7 years toiling in the minors, and he takes a strike on the outside part of the plate from Jackson. Each team with 2 errors tonight, which sounds like a lot, unless you watched last night's game. That one's outside. Rangers had 7 errors last night, so 2's a lot better. Still more, I'm sure, than Ron Washington would like. Jackie Moore over there right next to him, kind of hidden by the protective screen there. This one's grounded to short. And the play is made. No, he's safe at first base. Ruiz dropped that ball. The run scores. And it's an error on the first baseman, Jose Ruiz.
It looked like a fairly routine ball. In fact, about as routine as you can get it. Catcher running. Shortstop throws a sinker over to first. Plenty of time, but he just clanked it at first base. It's contagious.
Yeah. So I jinxed him with the error talk. Now it's 3 for the Rangers. We'll keep our fingers crossed that they don't get to 7. As Jordan Henry comes to the plate. This kid couldn't look younger. Oh, there's old Jordan Henry. No kidding. Ball's outside from Jackson. Could easily be out of this inning. But instead it's 12-6. Henry waves and misses, though, and the side is retired. Couple of strikeouts in the inning for Zach Jackson. But the lead is once again half a dozen as we head to the 9th inning.
Saturday, spring.
Twelve to 6 Indians as we head to the 9th inning now. And the new pitcher for the Cleveland Indians is Tony Sipp. 6-foot left-hander, weighs 190 pounds. Spent a little time with the big club in each of the last 2 years. Actually had 70 appearances a year ago. 2-2 record and a 4.14 ERA.
Yeah, he's a strikeout pitcher. He struck out 69 batters in 63 innings. Gave up a few too many home runs, maybe a few too many walks, but opponents only hit .218 against him. And he struck a lot of them out.
And he's now working with a 6-run lead. It is 12-6. There's a strike to Garcia. The 0-2 grounded towards second. There to make the play is Sanchez. And there is one out in the 9th inning. That'll bring up David Murphy, who started the game in left field, I should say, but has since moved over to center. And he has reached base in a number of ways. Another catcher's interference, a home run, tape measure shot, and then a single that also could have been called catcher's interference in the 7th.
He's hit the ball hard every time he's hit it tonight. David told us in our interview the other day, prefers, and told Ron Washington this, to play all 9 innings. Doesn't need to be taken out of a game. Would rather get 4 or 5 at bats in one game than a couple at bats here and there in 2 or 3 different games. So almost every time we've seen David, he's been in there for all 9 innings. I understand his thinking. I feel like he can get into a groove better. Not to mention the fact that early in spring training you get to see a couple of easier pitchers late in the game than you might see otherwise.
Pad your numbers just a little bit. David's down on strikes there. And there are 2 away. Couldn't quite check the swing.
Looked like he did.
Yeah, it did to me too, but the appeal to third says no. And here comes Endy Chavez. His 14th game of the spring. He's batting 200.
He did not swing. We were right.
Yep. But the umpire's thinking, you know, it's 10-15. It's a 6-run game.
David doesn't need that. He's got a couple of hits in the game anyway.
Yeah. And his hardest hit ball might have been that one in the 1st inning that Chu robbed him of. It's outside part of the plate to Chavez and a strike. Maybe Rob Drake is anxious to get out of here too. So it's 1-2. That one is inside to even the count at 2-2. And that'll do it. As Endy Chavez goes down swinging. A couple of strikeouts in the inning for that strikeout pitcher, Tony Sipp. And this one is over. 12-6 the final. We're back with more in just a moment on TXA 21.